What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Today is Monday. A lot of great questions. Boxing Ego Monday Mail Day. This might not be as long as normal, and I got some things I have to do, so I'll try to blow through them, get to as many as I can. As you guys know, I like to group similar questions to knock them all out in the sequence. And let's get started. First one is from W. Blake 22. Should Kirkland get a trainer like Khan did to teach him some defense that chin won't hold up against big punchers? Now, unfortunately, in boxing, this is why a lot of late bloomers don't have success unless you're a guy like Sergio Martinez, who did have a good run even after a knockout to Antonio Margarito. I think it's too late for Kirkland in terms of significantly improving his defense. Not saying he can't learn a couple things, but I mean, guys, there's only so much you can learn in a 6 to 8 training week camp. You know what I mean? There's really only so much you could do. It's just like being 29 and all of a sudden trying to pick up Spanish when you spoke English only your whole life. It's possible, but it's usually better if you start at a younger age to learn an additional language so it sticks with you. You can get the dialect and learn how to roll your tongue and different stuff like that. So same thing with training, boxing, and new things. You could pick up little subtle things, but to go from a guy who's very one-dimensional, has no defense, to Pernell Whitaker, I mean, it's just nearly impossible the later you wait, because like guys like Mayweather, one part of it is his reflexes, and then two, he's been cultivated into boxing. His dad, his uncle, both of his uncles were boxers and things like that. So he's been born and bred into this, and there's a lot of fighters like that. So he had a jump start, whereas Kirkland would now, after a brutal knockout, be looking to improve his defense. Like I said, there's certain things he could probably tighten up, but it's ultimately you have to be the fighter you are. Next question is from Crescencio Mejia. What's next for Kirkland? Any good fights for him to come back to? Now, that's a good question. I would say a fight that was supposed to happen, if you guys remember, on the Hopkins-Kovalev undercard last year, was Kirkland versus Gabe Rosado. I think both of them are in a tight spot. At least Rosado, non-BKB, his boxing career has taken some losses in boxing. He's off a loss to David Lemieux. So I think that's a good fight. It was supposed to happen before. Why not? I think that's a good fight, and it's a winnable fight for both of them. And Kirkland could be his normal self, and Gabe Rosado can be his normal self, and see who comes out on top. So I like that idea. But Kirkland should either do that or take a severe light touch after a brutal knockout from Canelo. I mean, you don't want to just keep going into tough fights like that, Glenn Tapias and Young Killers and stuff. I think he should fight maybe like a Gabe Rosado, somebody with, you know what I mean, decent pop, but it's not going to be like, I'm going to blow your head off type of. I mean, Canelo spun him around. That was ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? So he should either take a guy like Gabe Rosado, who's respectable, or maybe take a even lighter touch than that, in my opinion. Next question is from Israel Valdez. Do you think the outcome of Canelo-Kirkland would have been different outcome if Ann was in his corner? Now, I really like Ann Wolfe. I followed her, you know what I mean, even in her boxing career, went back and looked at some of her fights and stuff. I like her and respect her. Ultimately, I think the outcome probably would have been the same. I think Kirkland's more or less a guy who's very one-dimensional. He has heart. He showed you that. And he's willing to go out in his shield. He showed you that. But Canelo is just the better with the skill. And unless you're a guy like Angulo. And see, when Angulo fought Kirkland, it was more evenly matched because they're both pretty one-dimensional but tough, rugged type of guys. But when you got a sharpshooter like Canelo with great hand speed and good combination punches, like I tell people, watch Canelo's punch variation. He hit some punch to hit Kirkland, pushed him to the ropes. Then he started with the uppercut. He had a left to the body, a right to the body, then went upstairs, left and a right upstairs. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And he did it, and it looked good as he did it. So I think ultimately the result would have been the same with or with Ann Wolfe. Maybe not that quick, because Ann Wolfe, we know she has the rigorous training. But, I mean, I don't see it really going to decision. I think the thing with Kirkland is his style is reliant on his opponent getting wore down and tired and stuff like that. And if Kirkland couldn't get Canelo out of there like early, and Canelo came in with good conditioning, it looked like Canelo's in good shape, I think the results would have pretty much been the same, unless he could have really just fatigued Kirkland. But Canelo's always dangerous, especially in those early rounds, because Canelo, he's not going to just let you bully him. He looks like a guy who wants to fight, and he wants that retaliation, that get back. If you start getting shots off, he's going to compose himself and try to get back and get his licks. So I think with Ann, it would have been the same. Maybe last a little bit longer. Next question is from COFA Fitness. Canelo look good. However, do you think he stands a chance against Triple G? Now, yeah, I would say he stands a chance. I would favor Triple G in that matchup. If that fight is to come into fruition, which it doesn't sound like, because Oscar said they're going to wait 2 years or something in a recent interview. But definitely favor Triple G. He has more experience at a higher weight than Canelo. Canelo's big, so I would give him a chance. He's a good inside fighter, but Triple G's excellent at cutting off the ring, something that Canelo struggles with. And you've seen the pressure that Kirkland provided for Canelo. And I mean, Canelo had to clinch a little bit and stuff like that. So imagine a guy who has a better jab and more technique with delivering his power shots and is bigger and probably hits harder than Kirkland doing that to Canelo. I'd have to favor Triple G, but I mean, I'd give him a shot. I would want to see it. If Canelo and Triple G were to fight tomorrow, Canelo would be the best name on Triple G's resume. So for that reason, I would watch it, but definitely favor Triple G in that matchup. Next question is from Ali Dago 619. Do you think Canelo would have trouble with Demetrius Andrade? Absolutely. Now, the reason I say that is because history shows you that. If you look at Canelo's in recent fights, his best performances and his worst performances, and go down the list, you know what I'm saying? And I was actually going to make a separate video about this, but Canelo, worst performances. Floyd Mayweather tops the list because he virtually did nothing. Then you could say the Laura was very controversial. He looked good in spots, but he was also getting outboxed in spots at the beginning, namely. You know what I mean? Or the Austin Trout, kind of a controversial ending. It's no surprise that the three fighters that had him look more human and regular and basic were guys with the pure boxing style. Mayweather, very elusive, slick. Laura, a southpaw, slick, great left hand, good boxing, Cuban boxing school. And then Austin Trout, at the time, undefeated, also a southpaw, I believe, and more considered a slick boxer. So Demetrius Andrade, you look at him, undefeated, champion, so he got that momentum. I seen him get knocked down before and then come back and then shut Vanes Monterosa out. He's 6 foot tall, Olympic pedigree. So different fights. People got to realize that styles make fights in boxing, period. It's nothing you could say to dispute it. I will, if anyone disagrees, then I don't respect or agree with your opinions about boxing, or at least that opinion, because styles make fights. What Canelo is able to do with Kirkland looks spectacular, absolutely phenomenal. But you got to keep in mind, he was in there with a guy who hadn't fought since, I believe, December 2013, and was on a 1.5+ year layoff or whatever, because he just fought May 9th. And a guy with no defense that stood in his wheelhouse and stood at his porch the whole time, squared up, didn't have a good defense, one-dimensional. So when his plan didn't work in terms of swarming Canelo and trying to bully him, and maybe he got tired or exhausted or whatever, then that's when Canelo started to open up and get knockdowns and then eventually the knockout. But again, I don't believe Demetrius Andrade would fight like that. He's a slicker style fighter. He's tall, he's rangy, he's a southpaw, so he's going to use what works for him. Kirkland tried to use what worked for him. So styles make fights. That's just like me saying because Adrian Broner was able to dominate John Molina that he beats Terrence Crawford easily. Like, who would say that? No one would say that because that's stupid, because Terrence Crawford fights nothing like John Molina. Terrence Crawford, he can go southpaw, orthodox. He has certain variables with his height. He's probably taller than John Molina. He's not one-dimensional and just reliant on power, different things like that. So each fight you have to analyze each attribute. So I think Demetrius Andrade gives Canelo a lot of problems based on history. The guys that have given Canelo a lot of problems aren't the guys that stand in front and trade with Canelo. Those guys get fucked up. Angulo, Kirkland, Josito Lopez, all the guys that really just, wanted to bang with him or whatever, they end up getting pretty much destroyed easy, you know what I'm saying? Or over the course of their fight. So I think Andrade poses a lot of problems for Canelo, but I would love to see it just to see who wins. Next question is from Mari Tuesday. Why aren't Mayweather opponents more willing to go for broke against him, especially when some of them say they didn't feel his power? Ultimately, I think it's just really sour grapes, and I think he has respectable pop, and obviously something he's doing is keeping you honest. So I'll basically leave it at that. I think people try to save face because Mayweather is not at this point of his career in this division, not necessarily a Keith Thurman, Gennady Golovkin knockout artist. So if they didn't get knocked down or knocked out, maybe because Floyd didn't commit to the knockout or take unnecessary gambles, then that's just their way of saving face to the public. Like, oh, I didn't really feel his power. I mean, then in all honesty, it kind of makes you look dumb for not going for broke. Like, oh, I don't respect his power. Then walk through his shit and then get the knockout, like Pacquiao, Canelo, or whoever said it. You know what I mean? I know Pacquiao said he didn't really feel his power. So, I mean, you're just, in all actuality, you make yourself look dumber because you're a known puncher who's a southpaw and aggressive. Why weren't you more aggressive knowing you didn't feel his power? Then you shouldn't have been, you had nothing to worry about. You know what I'm saying? That's like if I'm at someone's front door or whatever, and they say, come in, I'm gonna beat your ass, and I know I'll beat their ass, then I'm gonna just walk the fuck in. I'm not gonna like wait at the door and not come in. Like, I'm gonna take them up on their offer. So if a guy doesn't have respectable power and you don't respect what they're doing, then you should be able to just Maidana your shit and just bum rush that person, just like Maidana did to Broner, because he just like fuck it and just went for the gusto. So I don't agree with that. I don't believe it. I think if that was truly the case, you didn't respect something he was doing, then you would have just rushed him. Next question from the Diesel. Should Andre Ward step out of character and become a trash-talking villain? I think this is his time to take the limelight from Mayweather. I don't think he should. I mean, that's kind of like on some Mace. If you guys listen to hip-hop, Mace stuff, like, you murder Mace and then you go to church and you're a pastor. I don't think you should sell out or be someone you're not. He's a family-oriented guy, humble, nice, you know what I mean, Olympian and SOG, son of God. So I don't think he should go WWE and then create this new Hollywood Hogan shit. So I don't think he should. I think there's other ways to market yourself other than like trash talking. I mean, maybe he can amp it up a little bit more or, you know what I mean, create more controversy, but ultimately, I would suggest everybody just be themselves and do what comes natural, because no one wants to see an act or a gimmick or something that looks forced. Next question is from Nicole Jordan. Ego boxing. Shouldn't Mayweather get an easy farewell? Why are people saying that he should fight Triple G? That's ridiculous in my opinion. What do you think? To me, these fight fans might as well say he needs to fight Mike Tyson or Vladimir. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Ultimately, it boils down to this. I'll keep it short and sweet. People want to see Mayweather lose, and it's always been the case for the last couple of years. They're tired of him. No one seems to have the style. Every person that they said has the style to beat him. Canelo, he's young, strong. He's going to take over, and he has the blueprint. He's going to take over boxing and pick up where De La Hoya couldn't, and he didn't do it. Then Pacquiao, for the last 5 years, Mayweather's scared. He's chicken. He's ducking him, and Pacquiao couldn't accomplish it. Maidana, he just ran through Broner. He's a champion. He's too much, too big for Floyd, and then he doesn't. So ultimately, they just move on to the next person. I remember when Ruslan was doing good and giving people very tough fights and didn't look as one-dimensional in some of his performances, then they were saying Floyd's scared to fight Ruslan. Same thing with Matisse. And then when Matisse lost to Danny Garcia, all of a sudden, you don't really hear those people saying Lucas Matisse and Mayweather need to fight, or Mayweather needs to fight Ruslan, because time revealed that those guys can get outboxed, and people probably seen it as less competitive. So they're really just going to pick whoever's on a win streak, whoever's still looking good. Keith Thurman, Kell Brook, they're undefeated. Triple G, he's undefeated. So he's going to ultimately have to fight him. But I think Mayweather's already proven what he needed to prove in the sport. He could retire tomorrow and be cool, especially money-wise. I think it would, I mean, he beat the guy that people said he couldn't beat for the last 5 years. So yeah, take a light touch farewell fight. I wouldn't be mad at him for it. Next question is from Gio Santiago. Ego, did the Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight help or hurt the sport of boxing, considering the casual fans weren't entertained? I mean, they're always going to be casual fans. See, this is the thing. The beauty of a casual fan is they come and go. So if they weren't entertained and they're out of the sport, cool, because they didn't know shit about boxing to begin with. And there'll be a whole like throng of other people who come just for the simple thing. They like football, they like UFC, but they're interested in boxing too. So casual fans come and go. I'm not really worried about them. Diehard boxing fans know what it is. And we've seen worse things happen in the sport of boxing. I've seen fights that were far more a waste of my time for different reasons. And as true boxing fans, we're still here. We've seen fights get canceled, premature stoppages, things like that. So I think it helped boxing, despite all the articles you'll read saying it's hurt and boxing's dead. Why do people watch Canelo-Kirkland? If boxing's dead, you should have turned off your TV, went outside to play, and not watched the Kirkland. But as soon as I made my post-fight about Canelo-Kirkland, people were like, oh, did you see that knockout? And talking about it. So if boxing was truly dead, like the articles suggest, then everybody should have missed Canelo-Kirkland, and I should have been the only person watching it, because I never said boxing was dead. So it helped the sport, despite what people said. Anytime you get an event with that many people and that many eyes watching it, it's going to help your sport, even if it doesn't end in the way people want it to. Next question is from Bradley Tucker. Instead of fighting Khan, do you think it would be smarter for Mayweather to have a farewell fight in September against a fighter like Rios, Ruslan, or Berto? I think Khan style-wise would give Mayweather problems, especially at this point in Mayweather's career. He's a bit past it. Yeah, and I kind of answered this before. I meant to group this together. But yeah, I think Khan is, style-wise, I think it'll keep Mayweather busy. So it's a good fight. So I think he could take a soft touch. He doesn't have to fight a guy like Khan. I mean, you already beat the guy who is ranked higher than Khan, who is, a lot of people consider him number 2 welterweight just behind Mayweather. So yeah, I'm okay with the farewell fight. I have no problems with that. If he chooses to take a more difficult fight, like a guy like Khan, who could keep him busy and try to outbox him, then so be it. But I mean, I don't think he has to. I think he's already, again, proven his worth. Next question, Joshua Lyons. Hey, Ego, I respect your opinions on boxing to the point where I've heard you spoke about nutrition and cutting weight. Could you do a video with helpful tips on nutrition and cutting weight? Thanks, and continue the great job, bro. Yeah, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to really get into nutrition, but I'll try to incorporate more videos like that to help you guys. Also on my Instagram, sometimes I haven't been cooking in a minute, but I've been posting recipes and stuff. People trying to lose weight, cut weight, eat better. I've been posting stuff like that, but I'll definitely try to incorporate more stuff like that on the channel. Thank you. Next question is the Deadman001. Yo, Ego, big fan. You have a huge fan base here in the Middle East. Shout out to the Middle East. Anyway, who do you think wins in these fights and why? Fury versus Wilder. Winner meets Klitschko. Canelo versus Triple G. Fury Wilder, at the moment I would pick Wilder. Still a good fight. Either guy can win. Tyson Fury's big. Wilder's big. The reason is I think Wilder's more athletic. Definitely more athletic than Tyson Fury. So I think he could move better. Tyson Fury is more clunky to me. And then the other big thing that always sticks out of my mind is how Fury got dropped by a former cruiserweight in Steve Cunningham. Now, if he got dropped, even slipping, he got caught and dropped by a guy like Steve Cunningham, who's in the low 200s and came from a lighter division. When you meet Wilder's power, I think that's just a different ball game. I think Wilder has freakish power, to be honest, and he's tall with long arms, so he's gonna have a better chance of delivering that power. So I ultimately think Wilder. I mean, Bermane Stiverne can crack, and Wilder was able to go the distance with him. So I would lean towards Wilder over Fury. Canelo, Triple G. I said this earlier. I would pick Triple G all the way. Just skill set, the amount of pressure he puts on you, his power, his brain. Canelo can make him work, but I would favor Triple G. Next question is from Roshan Chekuri. Also, Prince Naseem versus Floyd back in the day, what would have happened? Now, I tell you guys all the time, Prince Naseem, one of my favorites, truly a character. But I also like Prince Naseem, not just for what he did in the ring, his antics, his ring walks, his personality. I like iconic figures in boxing, and Prince Naseem is that. So there's a lot of people that I like in boxing, and it doesn't just end with what they did in ring. But if I'm honest with the fight, Floyd would have killed Prince Naseem back in the day. Floyd was just too much. I mean, Prince Naseem, he stepped up with Barrera, who was considered slow but a good boxer, and he looked horrible. Like, you know what I'm saying? He got schooled by Barrera. So Floyd, and people don't remember this because they always think about the recent, and maybe they weren't boxing fans back then. Floyd was deadly in the lighter divisions. He was faster. He committed more. He had more offense. He wasn't as flat-footed or whatever people say. I mean, he was moving. He was just watch old Floyd fights like Arturo Gatti and shit. I think Floyd would have destroyed Prince Naseem, and that's honest. And that's because a guy who is probably less skilled. And Barrera's a great fighter, but he's less skilled, slower, less athletic. We definitely know that. Less speed than Prince Naseem. And you've seen how he schooled Prince Naseem. So imagine a guy who can perhaps match Prince Naseem's speed or come close with impeccable timing, which Floyd has shown throughout his career. The combination punches, especially that he showed in the lighter division, plus being able to think, movement, better defense, he would have destroyed Prince Naseem. And that's coming from a fan, a diehard fan of Prince Naseem. Last question. Vahas, ego. Do you think that Floyd will get his due credit at some point? Kind of like Ali. It took many years for people to realize what a phenomenon he was. So many people want to discredit him or every single opponent that he faces, but all the things that Floyd does has to be greatness. All these numbers have to mean something. I mean, it's absolutely, like me, I'm a real boxing fan. I don't care what your style is, your background, your nationality. I don't care about that dumb shit. Me, I care about boxing. Floyd is truly a gifted athlete. He's a great fighter. People kick and scream. They bring in racism. They talk about domestic violence. I'm talking about boxing, and that's what Floyd knows. Mayweather knows boxing. There's nothing you could say. People want to hate and discredit and say this fight was close, he should have lost this. He didn't. For whatever reason, he didn't. Just like there's other things that people consider robberies and close fights and stuff. I've seen more egregious stuff, but Floyd is always under a microscope because people hate him so much, you know what I mean? But he's truly a gifted fighter, and people are always like, oh, you're always defending Floyd. I'm not defending shit. He defends himself by his talents. I don't have to defend him. Like, I mean, he's doing a good job of proving people wrong. And what I mean by that is, you look at Floyd, everything people said he couldn't do, he does. Oh, Canelo's going to destroy him. Doesn't do that. Gets schooled easy. Pacquiao, he's the one to beat him. Doesn't happen. Doesn't even come close. And they start coming up with shoulder injuries and different reasons why Pacquiao didn't look the same and stuff like that. Diego Corrales, knockout artist, undefeated. He's going to kill Mayweather. He's too tall. He's too strong. He's knocking everyone out. And then he has probably one of his career best performances, knocks him down 4 times, I think it was, whatever it was. So I think it is going to take time. People don't like greatness in their face. You know what I mean? They like to let it simmer and marinate. And I think when Floyd's gone and when you see other people who are bums and have short careers and stuff, people will appreciate guys like Hopkins and guys like Floyd Mayweather who were able to have longevity. I mean, I'm not trying to talk too much about Hopkins, but if you look at it, it's weird that Hopkins got beat pretty easy by Roy Jones Jr. when he was a freak, when Roy Jones was just killing everybody. But Hopkins, style-wise, was able to outlast Roy Jones Jr. Even though he was in jail, Hopkins was in jail and all this, he was able to have a longer-lasting career with more impressive things happening late in his career based on his brain and his knowledge of the boxing game. Whereas Roy Jones started to taper, get knocked out, and his athleticism really kept him afloat. Floyd is skilled. Floyd has the ability to evolve. Floyd has evolved. When he was in the lighter divisions, like I just said, he was more aggressive, more offense, but he's had to refine his style. His hands are brittle. He got older. His legs, let's say, he's not moving as fluid. So that shows he has skill. And it all comes from up top, what he does up top. He's a smart fighter, and people hate him for it. But shit, get knocked out like James Kirkland or embarrass somebody and make it look easy. The fuck would you choose? You know what I'm saying? And most people, this is what people don't understand. Most people fear the unknown, and they hate what they can't, like, wrap their heads around. And people just can't wrap their heads around. They want to bring up running and all this stuff. They can't wrap their heads around. He's just gifted. He's a great athlete. And he has the ability to make good or great fighters look average. You've seen what Canelo did last week. Canelo destroyed a big man, a guy who hits harder than Mayweather, a guy who's more aggressive than Mayweather. And he got destroyed in 3 rounds. Canelo is capable of doing that, but just not against Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? So I think as you continue to see fighters grow and stuff, people will wait until he retires and then like go back, review tapes, and you'll see what he was capable of and like what he did to fighters. You know what I'm saying? That's not normal. You know what I mean? Laura's a good fighter and a slick fighter, didn't even make Canelo look as bad as Floyd made him. Floyd, to me, wasn't even competitive. After the third round, I'm like, damn, Canelo needs a knockout. You know what I'm saying? Laura, that's debatable. Like, I understand why people say Canelo won, and I understand why people say Laura won. Like, because that's a type of fight. Depends what you like, what you look for, what impresses you more. Do you like the vicious body work and the guy being the aggressor, or do you like the guy who was strategic early, boxing and outboxing the shit, making his opponent miss, ring generalship? So that's debatable. Floyd Canelo wasn't debatable. So Floyd will get his credit. It just won't be now, because you have to wait for all these people to just mature and embrace it and accept it when they want. You know what I mean? And it just happens. It happens for different people at different times. I remember I watched the movie The Town the first time, and I was like, okay, that was cool. It was all right. And then I actually watched it again later, and I really appreciate it. Now it's like one of my favorite movies, like, to watch. Like, it's a good movie. I liked it. You know what I mean? And there's other movies like that where I watched it the first showing and I'm not really that impressed, and then I watched that movie again and I'm like, damn, that was a damn good movie. I wonder why I didn't really care for it. So people will come along. That's my opinion. Wraps up Monday Mail Day. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.